Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before I begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. That person is not me. They are scamming you. I will not be soliciting you for anything. Okay, with that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Ooh. And spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. And let's see what your chakra energy is for this time. Aquarius. How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. So we have here rebirth. This is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below your feet. Then we have truth. This is the throat chakra. And finally, we have soul's healing. And this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above the crown. Now on the left-hand side is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. We have the Queen of Pentacles, which links you quite beautifully to the full moon in Virgo on the 27th of February. The full moon will also again be in Virgo on the 28th of March. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Two of Wands and the Ace of Swords, a gift just for you. You're represented by the swords in the minor arcana. You're represented by the star card in the major arcana. We then have the Two of Cups. You have the repeat of the number 2 here, which is beautiful. The Five of Swords. The Three of Swords, the repeat of the number 3. Divinity is with you. The Page of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Seven of Swords. The Seven of Cups. Oh, truth is going to be really important for you during this time, which it is normally, Aquarius. But just know here, just one of the annoying things of having a repeat of 7 come up, not only are you diving deeper into spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, but you're not going to put up well with other people's kind of BS, right? And people are going to call you out. Even if you make like the tiniest slip up, they'll be like, oh, well, that's not true. That's not what you said last time. So just be aware of that, because it'll grate on your nerves, because you'll look at them and be like, what the heck is wrong with you? You say such, asinine things, but you're calling me out on this. Just know that yes, they are. You have Judgment here, which is a resurrection of self, which we see as part of your rebirth. And then we have the World. So that's really beautiful. You have card 20 going into card 21. So that's really pretty. Okay, so let's talk about your chakra energy. We have rebirth, truth, and the soul's healing. So we have the Earth Star Chakra, the Throat Chakra, and the Soul Star Chakra. So with the Earth Chakra here, there is a sense of you shedding a skin of who you once were, being reborn, being empowered, really looking at things quite differently. It's kind of like an inchworm crawling across, not an inchworm, I always say inchworm, but it's a caterpillar inching across on the ground. And that caterpillar one day goes into a cocoon and becomes a butterfly. And there's a sense here of needing to kind of trudge along before you can fly, before you can embrace your beauty, before you can see the bounty that is such a part of you. And you might think, how long do I have to be inching across like a silly caterpillar before I can become a butterfly? That's between you and divinity. That's really on your journey. But here there is a sense of elevation and escalation and seeing things quite differently and opening up your heart and, having your soul be pulled forward to something more. And that's going to be really quite beautiful for you. It leads you to your throat chakra. It leads you to speaking your truth, to embracing your truth. So when we have our truth here, we have to have our truth balanced within what we know passionately on this world and what we know emotionally within our souls, within ourselves. So there's a sense here of gaining a balance, gaining an understanding, seeing things more openly, more honestly for yourself, opening up the doors. And this becomes a very powerful way forward. This becomes a way that you sit there and you stand in your truth. And I know people sit there and say, Dane, if I live my truth, then people will kind of come at me. They won't like me. They'll attack because they'll see that I'm in alignment. Let that be on them. And I do know that we're programmed to remember the mean comments so much more than the nice comments. I really do understand that, believe me. But here it is a sense during this time, especially and with this moon, with you turning inward and with you being so guided forward, it's time to state your truth, to state what it is that you desire, to state where it is that you want to be, but also where you need to be. And then that starts to open up the doors because you start to voice your power. And it brings you to healing, the sense of a coming together, the sense of the energy coming down from the soul star chakra and illuminating you, enlightening you, moving you forward in a way that you hadn't expected. And it brings you to this moon so beautifully because this moon is the Virgo moon. And this moon has us, as all full moons do, surrendering to the divine for us to embrace pure power, pure understanding, for us to see our truth. And as we do this, we find with the full moon in Virgo, this is the most discriminating of all the moons. And that sounds bad, right? But is it really? Is it really to be discerning? Maybe discriminating is the wrong term to use, but it is the term that is used for the Virgo moon. It is the moon that sits there and says, I want things to be a certain way. I'm looking for things a certain way. I'm seeing things a certain way. And I want things to move forward in this direction. Now, the problem with this is that every single one of us gets a little bit inclined to see what we want to see. And we need to keep an open mind. We need to move forward in this passion, in this power, in this understanding. Because this moon says quite clearly, we are good enough. And I always found that condescending. And I know I say this every single time with the Virgo full moon. When I first read this card, and for a lot of times when I use these cards, when I read, you're good enough, I thought, how rude of you. How patronizing, how flippant. But now I sit there. Now when I see this card, I sit there and I see that it means that in this moment, where you stand right now, you are enough. You might have the reaction that I had, the reaction of, do you not know how hard this road is? Do you not know how long I've been struggling, working, how far I've fallen, how much despair I've gone through? And you say, I'm enough. If I was enough, my dreams would have come true. If I was enough, I would be at the place that I wanted to be. But it doesn't mean that you're not enough just because you're not there yet. What it tells you is that you have a grace, a power to you that you might not be seeing. Because the world, well, excuse my language, it shits on us a lot. It's overwhelming and it's nasty and it's cruel. And it makes us doubt that we're enough. This is a time where we're questioning our harmony and our balance. We're sitting there and we're saying, how is this my harmony? How is this my balance? What is it that I want? And we're astoundingly nostalgic during this time. We're thinking of the past, the good old days. We're looking towards the future. Things will be better when. We forget the present, which is all that we have. And as this moves us forward, we find that we're fighting a little bit against this moon. This moon wants us to put everything in order. A place for everything and everything in its place is very apropos to the Virgo full moon. But it's also that need to be helpful. Except again, we all tend to have our very set ideas about how things are helpful, how we should be moving forward, what it is that we want. And this is a time where we need to start opening our eyes, right? There's a difficulty with being understood during this time, making our points come across. And I believe that it's because we need to be a little bit more open-minded. Share it in the discussion, share in the ebb and the flow of conversation. We need to focus on the whys and the what fors because we find solutions that bring back our balance and our harmony. Now, during this time, during this moon, it's very interesting because water and wind is going to be increased during this moon. So we can see that the water increases, that the wind is a bit biting, the snow might come a bit more, the rain might come a bit more during this time. So just be a bit aware of that, okay? This is also a moon that very much affects Virgo and Pisces. So wherever in your natal chart you have Virgo or Pisces, it starts to come out. That part of your personality comes out more and more. And those of you born on the cusp with Pisces, okay, will feel the effects of this moon quite intensely. This then also affects Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, so the earth sign energies. They will be favored, yes, by this moon. And in that favor will be regenerated and have things move more efficiently for them. So look out for where those signs are within your natal chart. They become more efficient, a little bit more leaning towards those personality traits within yourself during this moon. Now, the new moon is on the 13th of March, and it is in Pisces. And it says a new start is coming, and it brings forth beginnings. And the interesting thing with this new moon, is that we have to be aware of the same things that we had to be aware of in the full moon, is that we are going to see what we want to see. We're going to sit there and have preconceived notions, and so we have to be very careful to keep an open mind and not just go with what we believe to be right. Sit there and question and learn and seek and look at different points of view, look at different ways of doing things. And so here it brings us to the Pisces new moon. It says meditate and contemplate. Sit quietly within yourself. Be quiet within yourself and embrace a harmony, embrace a understanding that comes. I like to meditate And I found this practice, not too long ago at all, just by breathing through your nose. If you make breathing through your nose a practice that you do all the time, it becomes a powerful thing. It brings you into quiet. It brings you into harmony. It brings you into power within yourself. I have a link in the description box about the breath, about breathing through your nose, which sounds so funny, but is so absolutely powerful. I highly suggest you watch it, or you Google the person, or it's the book, Breath, I believe. It's all in the description box because I'm not remembering it correctly right now. But sitting in that meditation, embracing that power, that would be so beneficial for you during this time, because you're embracing this rebirth, you're letting in this healing, and it's opening you up in a way that you hadn't anticipated, that you hadn't thought possible for yourself. And it brings you then to the spirit animal for February. Now, whether you believe in the spirit animals, whether you don't, whether they're abstract or whether they're really quite solid beings for you, that's completely up to you. But the spirit animal for February is the otter spirit. And it says you are never alone, because you have one otter here and one otter here. You have that love connecting. And that love can be between you and your spirit guides, you and your angels, you and divinity. We always poo-poo that. We go, oh, well, that's no big deal. That's the biggest deal. That is the most beautiful thing. The outer spirit, when it says that you are never alone, has us focusing on joy and has us stop swimming against the current. Stop sitting there and fighting. Let yourself kind of go with the flow. It doesn't mean you give up. It doesn't mean you stop fighting for what you believe in or what you want from life and keep on moving yourself forward. But it also means that we take the anger out of our hearts and we let ourselves move forward. And we say to divinity, we say to you, universe, where do you want me to be? How do you want me to be? What is it that you desire from me as I'm opening up the door? And it brings us to this place of unity. It brings us to this place of awareness of our subconscious. And it moves us to the spirit animals of March, which are the whale and the wolf spirit. And the whale spirit says, trust in the great mysteries. The wolf spirit says, turn knowledge into wisdom. So during this time, as you're trusting in the great mysteries, you're realizing that there is so much more out there than we could ever know. We're not going to be able to see everything. Divinity holds things back from us and says it is a journey. You're not supposed to know the answers. And the whale spirit is the great record keeper of the earth, not the great controller, the person who observes, the being that keeps the records, the being that sees and hears all. It's beautiful, and it's so sad. And so here, with this great record keeper watching over us, what we're doing to the planet, what we're doing to ourselves, we start to listen to our inner voice. And we start to connect with our emotions, with our emotional power. And as we do this, we also start to become in tune with our energy vibration. And not every single day is our energy vibration going to be up high. Some days we have crappy days. Excuse my language, but we do. They're sad, they're overwhelmed, there's so much to do, there's so little time. It's time to rise. It's time to sit there and respect when you're having a bad day, when you're cranky, when you're overwhelmed, when you're, detoxing negative energy and you're sitting there just frustrated, just absolutely frustrated. And everybody's going to know it, because if you're having a bad day, Lord knows you're going to make sure that everybody knows that you're upset, right? At least that's me. But then you realize and you look at it and you say, how do I raise my vibration? How do I step into the joy of my life? How do I embrace my truth? And it's not every moment of every day, but 4 moments during the day. It's a raise of our vibration. It's the days that everything goes right, where you feel at harmony with yourself. It brings forward the wolf spirit. We turn knowledge into wisdom. That's what life is all about. You have to live to accumulate wisdom. And some people, you'll see, they'll be young, but they'll be very wise. And other people, you'll see, they'll be more mature and they will be foolish. It depends on how you accumulate the wisdom of the life that you have lived. This is sharpening of our intellect, okay? This is a deep connection with our freedom and where we want to be within our lives, and following our instincts, but also looking at the pact that we're a part of, the pack that we're a part of, and also the pack that we're a part of from the earth itself, humanity itself, and saying, where do I stand? And also not being mad at ourselves for where we stand. It might not be where we want to be, but it's where we need to be at this moment. And so we embrace our wisdom, our truth, our power, our knowledge. Our knowledge becomes the wisdom that we live by, that we learn by. And it moves us here to the Queen of Pentacles. Prosperity, bounty, success. But this deep connection to the full moon in Virgo. The sense that bounty comes forward. The sense that you're given these seeds to cherish, to look at, to see how to plant, to see how to move forward in life. And you're embracing them. You're looking at your life. You're looking at where it is that you want to be. The Queen of Pentacles raises our energy, okay? Has us looking at our truth, has us seeing ourselves as rich. And you might say, oh, I love my bank account to be bigger. Of course, we all would. We all would. But here it is looking at the seeds that we plant that bring us prosperity. I like to think of the pentacles as seeds. Thinking of them as money is one thing, yes. But if we think of them as seeds, they're things we need to nurture. They're things we need to care about. You know, with money, you can just have it as an abstraction in a bank or, under the mattress or wherever you keep it, right? But it's not something you have to nourish and take care of. Seeds are. You plant them into the earth. You water them. You protect them. You let the sun feed them. It's prosperity and bounty and abundance. It's nourishing what's so vitally important. And what's more important than the food we put into our bodies? We've tended to lose this importance of the food that we eat. But we need to embrace it again. Here, it is looking at the gardens that we plant. And so often, we might have one section of our garden, one section of our life. We tend that garden so well. It is excellent. But everything else is all overwhelmed, all overgrown. Then we can also have gardens. There are some points in our lives where the gardens are just all weeds. It's been too much. We can't handle anymore. And everything gets overgrown. Here with the Queen of Pentacles, it's looking at the seeds that you are planting, the land that you are nourishing, the self that you are nourishing, because you're connecting with the Three of Cups. And for me, the Three of Cups is always the people who raised the glasses to us, who said, and some of them vowed to stand by our side, to protect us, to be a part of us, to care for us. And they just couldn't. Parents, lovers, friends. We have a whole slew of people who just let us down. And sometimes we'll see a pattern. It's like, oh, wow, that person is just like that person. You could almost, if you change their names, right, and describe them, you'd be describing the same person. These are the wounds that hit our hearts. These are the people that we leaned on and found out that we could only lean on ourselves. And sometimes we learned that when we were very small, which is not cool. Here with the Three of Cups, it is a sense of looking at that pain, of understanding that pain, and saying, no, you don't get to define me. You don't get to be the voice I hear inside my head. You don't get to be the reason why I'm afraid to love and trust. Because it's so interesting. We have the Three of Cups going in the diagonal to the Three of Swords. And then the World. The pain that you have been through opens up the world to you. And it sounds wrong to say, but it's because it has given you a greater insight, a greater understanding, a greater sense of truth. And it has moved you to looking at the Two of Wands, to holding the world in your hand and saying, I can do this. Why? Because I've already been through the forge. I've already been betrayed and hurt and stomped on and denied my voice. I get to embrace what I love. I get to move forward. I don't get to be afraid anymore. And so we hold in our hands the world. And for some of us, for the first time, it's looking at the world and not being terrified by it. Not doubting that we can do it, but saying, this is my truth. This is my passion. This is my power. This is me. I am moving forward. And then we get the gift of the Ace of Swords. You're an air sign energy. This is the time where we take up the sword and we cut through our doubts and our fears, where we embrace what it is that we greatly desire. We also become aware of the power that it takes to be a human being of substance, to be a person of higher energy vibration, to be a person of truth and integrity. The swords is so interesting in the tarot because everything else, the wands, the cups, the pentacles, the pentacles can be seeds. The cups can be watering cups, but they all nourish, right? They all help you along. The wands can be a torch. But a sword is simply a sword. You can't change it into anything else. I mean, people do, they change it into the air sign and they make it a bird, but you're taking away the sword. The sword is merely a weapon. It can be decoration, right, for ornamental purposes, but it's still to provoke and to show rank and power. And swords made people. They did. If you were handed a sword back in medieval times or before, your life was completely changed. You became part of the nobility. Only nobility was able to hold swords. This took practice. This took skill. Here, when you're given a gift like this, it isn't an offhanded gift. It is a gift that takes time and effort to be able to wield. And it has the crown on it. Because only the royalty gets to hold the sword. So you might sit there and say, why do the air signs, have to go through this? Why is it that the road for Aquarius is so tough? Because you are a sword. You are a power. You are a truth. You are a force. And that takes time to hone. But this gift comes. God, Source, Spirit, however you say it, however you see it, they hand you this gift of power and insight, truth and knowledge. And it brings you to unity. It brings you to the connection of your heart, to saying, this is what I want. This is where I'm headed. This is what I desire. Your heart is healing. It is opening to your truth. It's embracing your power. And what's so interesting is as this healing comes in, you're also deeply connected with the spirit world within your heart. Okay? If you have loved ones that pass, they're right there with you. If you have, your ancestral energy is just super strong during this time. If you have a good connection with your spirit guides, with your angels, this is the time to strengthen that. Right? You can even be helped by ancestors who you don't know, but they want to see you succeed. And then we have the chaos, the way that we tell ourselves, oh no, I'm not going to succeed. I couldn't possibly move forward this way. We have the chaos come forward, externally, internally, doubts, fears, apprehensions, wanting to clone ourselves so we can be everywhere all at once. This is looking at our truth and saying, okay, I see you. This is looking at our chaos and saying, okay, I see you. How do I get to the balance? This is looking at things and saying, I need to take it one step at a time. That's what this moon is very good at. Earth sign energy, very good at saying, break it down. Small, reasonable bites, which is wonderful when you're thinking about things logically. But then when you go to put things in practice and you have all your other signs within your natal chart coming up and all your other personality traits coming forward, you can still drop the ball, which is perfectly fine. Be kind to yourself because you're going to sit there and think, I just have to do it all. The way to heal is just to be better, just to be perfect. It's no, the way to heal is to look at yourself and say, I honor where I stand and I honor who I am. And it brings us to looking at the hurt, at the sorrow, at the pain, at the disappointment, at the tears, at the heartbreak. The way that not only were they not there for us emotionally, did people let us down emotionally, but these are the scars that they left behind. It isn't just that, wow, I don't trust people as easily as I once did. Wow, I am more cynical than I was before. But it's the way that it makes you afraid. It's a way that it can make you cry. And you sit there and you say, why? Why is this happening? Why have I gone through this pain? With the Three of Swords, we need to name the pain. We need to see it. And I know that sounds odd to say, but when we see the pain, when we look at what has broken our hearts, what has cut through, what has made us so afraid, here, her tears are blood. That comes from tremendous fear. What has made us so afraid to move forward? Because these are the ways we're shattered. But here's the thing. Everybody on this planet is shattered. Nobody is perfect. Everybody is learning and seeking and thriving to move forward. The Three of Swords is naming the pain, is naming the fear that you have when you think of moving forward, naming the voice in the back of your head that made you think, I couldn't do this. I can't do this. My father was right. My mother was right. My guardian was right. I can't move forward. That teacher was right. My ex was right. They're the wounds from the people who knew us the best and knew exactly where to hit. They're the wounds of the shattered dreams, the fallen hopes. When we give them a face, when we see it, either in abstraction as a color or in a more kind of permanent form as the person who hurt us or the event that hurt us, we can start to see why we carry around those scars. Because they're protection mechanisms. It's saying you never want to be hurt this way again. Remember how much it devastated you. But if you name it, if you acknowledge it, you own it, then you set it free. And that's when you become a student of your passion, of what you desire, of what you need, of what you're seeing. It's looking at things and saying, I am learning so much here. There is a new path being illuminated for me. I'm not held back. I'm free. And I have learned, because of the pain that I've been through, to stand on my own 2 feet. Here, what we are seeing is we are seeing that power of being the student, of opening up the doors, of saying, yes, I'm learning. Yes, I'm discovering. Yes, I'm seeing the reason why I get my tush out of bed in the morning. And I'm embracing my power forward. I'm embracing my greater understanding. It brings us to the public arena. It brings us to gathering up what we need, leaving some things behind because we don't need to take them with us. It'll weigh us down too much. It's too heavy, a burden to bear. And now it's moving forward to what we desire, moving forward to what we see within our lives. People might say during this time, oh my gosh, you're being sneaky. Well, it's not everybody's business, is it? Sometimes we need to move forward for us. And if we tell everybody everything, right, they take us by eyes. They sit there and they go, oh, I wish you so well. And yet they jinx us, Oh, I hope you have the very best. And they resent us. So here it's taking what you want and it's holding it close. And it's moving forward. And as you do so, you have the Seven of Cups. You have yourself connecting with your dreams, connecting with what you desired, what you hid away because it was too precious for you to be sullied by everybody. You step into your dreams, you step into your passion, you bring it forward, you bring it into your life. And you say, little by little, I start introducing my dreams to my world. So often we don't do this because, first of all, it's scary. Second of all, it can be ruined. People ruin dreams all the time for people. Snide comments, nasty remarks, scoffing, laughing, doubting. We get to keep our dreams. We get to bring them forward. And this world doesn't get to take them away from us because we get to quietly and carefully start to live them. And it brings us to a resurrection of soul, to an embrace of power, to a rising from the ashes. And I know people sit there and say, Dana, I don't want to rise from the ashes. I don't want ashes. Every single day you wake up, you rise from the ashes of sleep. You embrace the power of yourself. You move forward in your truth. Every day we rise, a bit different than the day before. And it brings us to the world opening in a way that, again, it's in your inner self. It once scared you to be able to move forward in the world, or you once thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to move forward. And then things started to stumble. Like there were setbacks, there were failures. And you thought, I could never move forward in the world the way that I wanted to. You're going to see now that yes, you can. Yes, you can. There is a brilliance here. Now, it might not be exactly the way that you wanted it to be, but there is a brilliance from spirit around you. There is a way that divinity leads you forward. So it might not be exactly the way that you imagined it would be, but it is the way divinity has planned it for you. There is a stepping into power here that is quite exquisite. There is an opening up of the doors and an embracing of your truth. The world isn't this frightening place anymore. It gets to be a place where you see where you belong within it, where you fit, and why you're here. Let's see what the moon, what Luna has to say. How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. We have assessing, fear, surrender. Release. Communication is key. Adjustments are required. Nothing will come of this situation. Work through your fears. Prosperity lies ahead. Okay. So we have the assessing, the looking, the embracing of prosperity, the looking at the emotional scars, right? And we're assessing the landscape. We're looking at how we move forward. Where is it that we want to be? How we can trust this way to our dreams or to what we want, to our happiness, to what we want within our lives. And then we have the fear that keeps us caged, the fear that has us curled in a ball within ourselves saying, I can't. And that's when we hold the world in our hands. That's what the Two of Wands, as we look forward, saying, what is it that I stand for? Where is it that I want to be? How can I carve out my place within this world? And it's looking at what we're afraid of, what's holding us back, what's keeping us denied, and saying, you don't get to rule me anymore. You never got to rule me. No longer will I be swept away? Will I be hidden away? It is time for me to embrace my voice. And this has us surrender. Surrender to the gifts that are coming. Surrender to the lessons that have been learned, to how we have been forged, okay? How our edges have been sharpened, how we have gained our skill. It is a surrender to the divine. And it brings us to a release, to a coming together, to almost a sense of pleasure, this sense of embracing what it is that we desire as the unity comes and as we look at the chaos and say, I can't be everything. I can't do everything. I need to embrace and I need to release what I can't do, what I can't be, so that I can fully embrace who it is that I am. It brings us then to the commitment being key, communication being key. As we look at the pain, as we talk to that pain, as we give that pain a face and say, why are you here? Why are you ruining my life? They're not ruining our lives. What they're doing is they're trying to protect us. Because back in ancient times, but also for people today who live a more rugged lifestyle. You need that fear to keep you alive. It will keep you from confronting a bear, right? Because bears are super dangerous. It will keep you from, going after the wolves, because wolves can be dangerous too. And here, when you are communicating with the fear, it's like, listen, there's no bear, there's no wolf, there's no real danger coming forward for me right now. Why is it that I'm afraid to live my dreams? Why is it that these scars and these hurts and these pains have defined me for so long? And as you ask those questions and you become a student of your passion and your power, it says adjustments are required. We need to look at things differently. We need to open up the door. We need to see where it is that we stand and why it is that we stand there. It brings us then to nothing will come of this situation as we take up our knowledge, as we, as we embrace our dreams. What we think will happen will not be what happens. How we think things will play out will not be how they play out. That's what the void, of course, is. It's saying, take your plans, throw them out the window. Nothing will come the way that you expected. So be prepared for the unplannable. But also know that as you're moving forward, you're being guided by a greater, vaster source than you ever realized. And it's time to work through your fears, to rise from the ashes of fears, and to say, there is more to my life than this, than fear and doubt and anger and despair. There gets to be beauty. And that's where your prosperity lies ahead, as your world opens and as you embrace the world in a way you never have before. Your subconscious Luna message is balance. It's finding that balance that is so craved during this time. And as you embrace that balance, as you see that truth, it moves you then to the full moon in Libra, which has the scales and balance. A win-win outcome is forecasted. Things turn out in your favor. It brings you then to your subconscious chakra message, which is universal light. Once again, the soul star chakra, located 6 inches above your crown. It's you getting to be that light, getting to have that healing light come onto you and radiate from you in a way that is exquisite, in a way that is powerful, in a way that warms, but also drives you forward in a way you hadn't anticipated. It brings you then to your subconscious chakra message, not chakra message, tarot message, which is the Fool. You get to start moving forward in your truth. The Fool, everybody who goes after what they want, who lives an unconventional lifestyle, who gets to be the hero of their story, is called a fool. Before they start to win, before they succeed, subconsciously, you are beginning a new journey. You are jumping into new territory. You will feel foolish at times, you will fall and you will stumble. But in the end, and inevitably, you will become the hero of your tale. All right, Aquarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we surrender to the power that is greater than us, to the gifts that are coming in that we could hardly imagine. And as we see our fears, address them, and are no longer ruled by them. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius, and may you have a blessed moon.